We started for sharp. Good afternoon, good morning, good day, depending where you are. I would like to welcome you all to this short session about what we consider a very important event, the launch of the Global Water Education Network for the SDG 6 Global Acceleration Framework. My name is Gaetano Casale. I'm going to moderate this session. It's only a 30 minutes online session, so I'll try to be strict on the timing, and without further ado, I would like to introduce to you our first speaker, Mr. Abu Amani from UNESCO, who will give us an introduction about the GWEN. Abu, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I want also to welcome all of you. And UNESCO is pleased really to join forces with the Alliance of Water Education, comprising SIWI, CAP-Net, UNDP, and IHE, of course, for working very hard in preparing this Global Water Education Network idea, which is a direct follow-up to the outcome of the UN 2020 Water Conference. As you know, all started during the preparatory meeting organized by the President of the General Assembly in October as preparatory process of the conference, where during the session on capacity development, this idea of putting in place a network of water education, institutional and network in supporting advancement acceleration of SDG 6 was discussed and considered as a game changer. And following that, UNESCO supported and encouraged all key partners to work together to come out with this idea of network on a game changer. And then, as you know, during the water conference, there was a dedicated session on the same idea. And we continue developing the idea, and I believe this today is the right place because of we are here gathered in Stockholm during the World Water Week to launch this Global Water Education Network. This Global Water Education Network is also a contribution to the UN Water Capacity Development Initiative. As you know, there is a UN Development Initiative supporting the acceleration of SDG 6. And as you know, the Global Water Acceleration Framework has 5 accelerators, and one of the 5 accelerators is on capacity development, because we believe that without filling the gap on capacity development, we will not be able to accelerate the achievement of SDG 6. So this is why this is extremely important to mobilize all the institutions working on capacity training on water to come together to move forward and fill the gap on the capacity development. So thank you once again for this opportunity, and we are looking forward to continue engaging with you and to advance this challenging issue for the benefit of member states. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abu, from UNESCO, for your welcoming words. Indeed, we are all here looking forward to have this as a success. So thanks for your nice words. Now we would like to give you a little bit of an explanation what actually this Global Water Education Network is about. With all the partners here sitting around this table, we developed a concept, and we would like to share with you the information about what we intend to do. I have here next to me Yasmina Rais from CAP-Net, who is going to take the floor. Yasmina, please, the floor is yours to explain to our audience.
Thank you, Gaetano, and I think as CAP-Net, we're honored to be here. And I'll briefly go into what exactly the Global Water Education Network is, why it was created, and how it intends to deliver as this game changer. So firstly, the network is an open invitation to any organization or institution that focuses on water-related education and capacity development. And the aim is to be truly inclusive and global in scope, with really the push to foster collaboration between across North and South. And the aim is also to serve as a knowledge broker between network members. So why did we as the Alliance come together and create the GWEN? So Abu gave us a background, really anchoring it as one of the commitments that emerged from the UN Water Conference. But what are really the needs that it intends to meet? And reasons why we came together and developed this was, one, to support national governments and their key water institutions to address the gaps in water education. It also aims to equip network members to jointly deliver state-of-the-art capacity development initiatives, which are co-created products, services, and tools. It will act as this centralized platform that will streamline lessons learned, trends, and insights, and also to contribute to effectively and as one voice to global discussions on water learning, such as exploring one for a new indicator, for instance, for water education, as well as work together to identify new opportunities. And finally, how do we intend for this GWEN to achieve such ambitious objectives? So the capacity development programs aim to be demand-driven and tailored to respond to the regional and country-specific needs. It will also act as this capacity development lab that serves as a space where tools are compiled, curated, and showcased, as well as relevant products, which are then adapted to relevant approaches, as well as curricula. Also, the intention is to work as a communication and advocacy body that undertakes activities both within and outside the network on key issues, such as simplifying and communicating messages for key decision makers, but also involving partners that are within the UN Water family and beyond within these very important initiatives. And last, but by no means least, to have this incorporated monitoring, evaluation, and learning system that is embedded in all that the GWEN does, to make sure it's innovative and responsive and goes beyond the simple counting of heads, but also capitalizes on this iterative process that will be openly shared, and then learn from that and implement it into potential upscale activities. So really, this was just to provide you all with an idea of why it was created and what it intends to deliver and how. So I thank you for that, and I'll pass it back to you, Gaetano. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yasmina, for explaining to our audience what the GWEN wants to do. It's indeed an ambitious program, but we recognize the value of it. And at this point of this very short session, we would also like to know a little bit more about the audience who is following us. And for that purpose, we have prepared some poll questions. To run the poll question, I'm going to ask my colleague Danil, also from CAP-Net, to take over. Daniel, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. And thank you. Welcome again to this session. We hope that you're hearing what you want to hear, but we want to get more into your thoughts and feelings about what we have presented here. If you look on your screen, you'll see a QR code. If you use your phones or your computers to join the link associated with the code, it will take you to a survey that will help us to understand where you're joining us from, what areas you're working in, and how you feel about what you have learned so far. If you are not able to use the QR code, we've also included the link that you can visit. That's polev.com/GWP, and the survey should be live now. So please feel free to answer the questions, and in a few seconds, I will be going through the answers with you. So I'll give you a few seconds to join and read and answer the questions, and then we'll have a look at what you have answered for us.
And meanwhile, we wait for the audience to react. Maybe I would like also to encourage all of you, in case you have any question at any moment, to use the chat that is provided by the platform to put your question or remarks or comments in the chat.
All right, we hope that you're having no issues joining and doing the survey. All right, in the meantime, while you're answering the survey questions, I will pass back to my colleague and we'll check in with your answers when you're finished. But let's jump back into the presentation and then we'll check back in on the survey at the end.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then I believe that we need a little bit more time for the survey. In the meantime, I would like to ask the audience. I see that there are a number of people present here to write in the chat. I've already seen that there are a few reactions, so we can maybe cover those reactions. So there is a question from Kirsten that asks if this GWEN, this network, is for water education only, or it's also intended to cover those who are not educated by universities. So I guess the question is it just for higher education, or do we intend to cover also other level of education, if I interpret well the question? Anyone would like to take that on board? Yasmina, maybe this one?
Sure. So the question was?
If the platform is only about universities or other level of education.
I think, well, that's a very good question. I think really it appeals to any organization or institution that is involved or interested in engaging with water-related education or capacity development. And so whatever products and services that the network will provide will be tailored to those needs. And so, as I mentioned earlier, part of it will provide support to national governments and key institutions responding to the needs on the ground, but it will also provide a knowledge brokering platform, which will have, let's say, a repository of lessons learned and different tools that will be able to allow the network members to pick and choose based on their capacity needs and education. So I hope that answers the question, but I think the point is really to make it inclusive for all those that are interested in in pursuing water-related initiatives.
Thank you, Yasmina. And talking about inclusiveness, there is also a question from Lindsay that asks if we have any idea of including also institutions outside the water sector and industry, for example. So who would like to take that one?
Yeah, I think this is a good question. I think what we need to do is to, as we want to make it inclusive, we need to be open to other component or actors on capacity development. And we believe that private sectors have a lot to provide. So moving forward, indeed, we need to find a way how we can bring on board that part also, capacity development. So that's what I can say. But the idea is to be to have that learning, water learning hub, so that anyone who want to other access to material, to know what's going on the water education, and really come in and find answer to this question. So what I can provide as a response. Yes, we are open moving forward to bring on board private entities providing also capacity development elements to the equation.
Thank you, Abu. Another interesting question comes from Martijn. I'm having the problem because I see the chat that is scrolling, but I can't see the previous one, so I have to rely on my memory. But the question from Martijn was related if we are planning to have co-generation of knowledge with a number of different countries and regions. And maybe I can pick up that one if you don't mind, although I'm moderator, so maybe I should not, but okay. I'm part of the equation here. So I think that's a great point, and it's actually, I think, one of the main purpose of this global water education network is actually, and it's part of what Yasmina presented, the Capacity Development Lab, is to have as much as possible interaction with the institutions and existing networks that are producing this knowledge in different countries, different contexts, and to see how we can learn from each other, also based on the demands and the needs from different regions, because of course there is a lot to learn on knowledge that is generated. By the way, today at the opening of the conference, a lot of emphasis was given on indigenous knowledge. And of course, if you create a network that is able to take on the local knowledge with the appropriate number of partners, then you are able to upscale the learning as a water education community as much as possible. So short answer is, of course, we are going to try to achieve that objective. Not easy. The whole program is very ambitious, but we need to find a way to connect better. Then next question is, and I think in my experience in any session, this question comes up all the time about financing. Is GWEN going to have financing to promote projects in developing countries? So who would like to pick up on that? I'm actually opening the floor also to other people, because as you see here, we have all organization on the table. So please feel free to jump in if you feel you can contribute, colleagues. The financing question, Eddie?
Yeah, so I do think that that's an important question, because without financing, it's quite difficult to put in extra efforts. But one of the ambitions of GWEN is also to build on existing structures, and we hope that by doing that, we can have also a quite fast start. We will also discuss financing. At the moment, that's not yet set, but we will be looking for financing. So also in our partnerships, we're quite interested not only to include partners that provide capacity development, but also partners that are interested to see how they can help us to financially support those developments there. So also that is an open call for the partnership.
Thank you, Eddie. And since this is such an important, we must be honest here. This is a newly launched initiative, so of course the whole financing aspect, as well as a lot of other nitty-gritty still have to be sorted out. But of course that's something that we have to develop in the moment that we progress further with this initiative. Any other remarks on the financing aspect? And otherwise, I move to next.
I could add something.
Damian?
I think that one of the most attractive and relevant things about the GWEN is this alliance between three strong partners as IHE, SIWI, CAP-Net, and also, of course, UNESCO. So, of course, the finance for the activities that we will do in the future, that still needs to be secured. But in principle, the idea of this strong collaboration is to be efficient in terms of the finances, in terms of sharing capacities and sharing skills, and also through our CAP-Net, we have 23 affiliated networks. IHE has its own global network of alumni, and IHE has regional offices in different parts of the world. So the idea is to make an efficient use of that, to leverage whatever possibilities we can all do. And basically that's the spirit of the acceleration, that we can do more together, we can be more efficient. So of course, more finance will be needed, but the idea is to set up a basis of efficiency for that.
Thank you, Damian. And again, I'd like to mention a question that now disappeared in the chat. I think it was related to if we are planning to involve also other capacity development organizations. If I'm not wrong, but please, to the sender, please correct me in the chat if I took it wrong. And I think I can also take that one. Of course, that's the whole intention, to have I guess my answer also relates to one question that we just received from Kirsten, that says there are already a number of curating platforms and brokering platforms for learning. Are those engaged? So one of the main activities that we're going to have is to engage as much as possible. What we made it clear in our concept that we have so far is that we don't want to create yet another network or platform that goes on top of anyone else, and again do things in parallel with many other networks, but we should as much as possible to leverage from all the networks, platforms, and whatever other mechanism that is already doing a lot of good work on capacity development. Of course, we have the UNESCO Category 2 Center. CAP-Net itself is a network of networks, and others that, Kirsten, you mentioned in your chat. We are definitely planning to have a standalone activity of mapping properly and trying to engage as much as possible with all these other mechanisms. So definitely the point is taken. Again, Lindsay here is asking a question. If the platform is looking to engage like social media platform like LinkedIn, and how are everyday users going to access this? Can I move this question to some communication expert in the room?
I guess that would be me. Yes, absolutely. Moving forward, we would have to access digital tools that are available, because that's what has been shortening the communications lines, if you will. And the best way to communicate globally is social media and other digital activities. So of course, once the network gets going and we have a good, solid group of resources that we can access, then we can move into the strategy that allows us to reach all corners of the world. But yes, social media will definitely be a part of our communication activities. But of course, we have to think broader than that, because we're reaching all sorts of people. And so we will have to reach them where they are. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I think we got quite a number of excellent questions. In view of time, I wonder if we are ready to show the poll.
We
have
start
7 minutes, and I will keep monitoring the chat.
Yes. Definitely.
The floor is yours again.
Thank you. So let's have a look at what you're saying. All right, so where are you joining us from today? You are at all four corners of the world, and that's what we like to see. That's definitely tying into our global reach, so that's good. We're reaching all the continents, except Australia. Nobody jumping in from Australia. New Zealand. Hopefully they'll watch the recording. But this is good. I think this is excellent that we'll have representation from all over the world. So let's see what industries you're coming from. All right. Hello, UN and international organizations. You compile the most here. We're also looking at a lot of academics, which is great because, of course, this is about education sharing. So we hope that what you've heard here today is right in line with some of your objectives in reaching water interests around the world. Private sector is also a big partner. So we're happy to see that we have some of you on to have a conversation. And of course, public sector, always important to get the policy moving and everything else. And of course, our independent professionals, we couldn't do it without you. Community is a big part of what we're doing here. All right, what do you want from GWEN? What difference can GWEN make? So any surprises here, guys? In terms of the response, most people think that co-curating products is a big deal. This is the most important thing for our group here online, followed by a tie, of providing a centralized knowledge brokering platform, as well as supporting national governments and their key water organizations. So I don't think we see any surprises here in terms of what the focus is for the interest groups that have joined us today. We have one more answer here, contributing to global discussions on water learning, which is what we're doing here now. So yeah, any surprises here? Anybody? No?
No, I think it's quite balanced, the responses. Of course, we do understand that there are different needs, and those needs need to be always be identified and the response to it tailored. Yeah. So from my end, I think there's no surprises. It's as expected. Thank you.
All right. How would you like to contribute? Partnership. Everyone is looking to become a partner. So collect information, everybody. We have partners that are interested in joining us. Followed by facilitating knowledge adaptation to region and country levels. And that's definitely been presented as a big focus, being there locally on the ground and regionally. Yeah, so I'll just hurry through. And here are your power words. And water. Water is at the center of it all, followed closely by collaboration, which is exactly what the GWEN is here to focus on, fostering and building and strengthening collaboration, because the knowledge and the resources are there, but how can we all come together and speak as one, in a sense, and have those resources available to everyone? So I think I'm going to wrap it up because our time is almost done. So I'll hand it back to you to give us our final word.
Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. And maybe there is, see that we have still 3 minutes. And if we use it efficiency, we can also cover a couple more points that I see in the chat. One is again from Kirsten, which I would like to thank for being such an active contributor to this discussion. She says something that in my opinion is quite important. I hope you will, as part of your activities, create the possibility of sharing education material for the trainers, educators. And she mentions how the model of the graduate sanitation school that we have at IHE. Yeah, so anyone, and another point, the list of contribution does not have one about supporting policy changes at the national or international level. Is that the goal also? Maybe I will cover briefly this last point and ask someone else, maybe if you want to comment on the one of Kirsten. We do have, as part of the pillar on running capacity development activities, specific goal of supporting member states. Because also Abu mentioned the capacity development initiative, which is a member state-driven initiative, we are counting that with this work of the network in support of the capacity development initiative, we can have an impact also at the policy level on countries. At least that's maybe not directly stated in our presentation, but certainly one of the aim. And on the other ones, the sharing of education material. Can I ask someone else to take this one briefly? You have 1 minute.
30 seconds.
A very short one is that indeed a reference also to the decentralized sanitation that we're running at IHE Delft. We would like to follow that example. So we're quite interested actually to also train trainers because we do think that if you really want to outskill, that's the way to do it. And also related to that, I saw one other question in the chat box, and that's about the level of education. And that's also not restricted to academic level only. We are also quite interested in all the other needs of knowledge there, especially also through this train the trainers setup.
Yes. Thank you very much. I'm afraid that we have no more time to cover the rest of the chat comments, but I thank you first of all very much in this room for your contribution.
Yes. There was one more question in the chat box, and that is how the follow-up will be. Maybe you can say a few words how people can be in contact with us for this follow-up.
Yeah. Yasmin, would you like to take that one?
I think, I mean, we were happy to share the material, and then I will have the relevant focal points, and we'll be actively following those expressions of interest.
So please send us an email. I think
yes,
if you're interested.
Yeah. If you're interested, please send an email to any of us. You can really find us very easily if you Google, but also the session, the participants. There are all details there. So feel free to contact any of the speakers and all the people that you see around this table. I would like to thank you very much for participating. And I hope that also the material that, like the recording, etc., or the leaflet and anything else will be available for sharing in the platform, or otherwise, again, send us an email. So with only 1 minute delay, I would like to wrap up the session and thank you a lot for participating, and stay tuned. You will hear about the GWEN certainly in the future. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.